Okie dokie fitsies, welcome back. 4.5 graph using slope intercept form. Got rid of the camera, don't know, felt like I was feeling self-conscious about that. So we're going to try this with just my voice, and then you'll be able to see what I'm writing as I'm talking about it. First thing I was going to have you look up was slope intercept form. If you'd like more information, there's more information for you on page 244. But slope intercept form is, for those of you who haven't seen it, y equals mx plus b. The main thing to notice here is y is completely by itself, and then you'll have your x term and then your constant term out there by itself. Now, from our previous lesson, we learned that the m is going to represent my slope, and when I'm graphing these, it's going to be rise over run still. So the top number will still tell you up and down, and the bottom number will tell you to move from left to right. So that's the slope part of it, but it's also called slope intercept. So this, the b, is your y-intercept. That's where your graph is going to cross the y-axis. We will pretty much write this as a coordinate, 0, b. And remember, b is for begin. B is where we'll begin, and the m will tell me where to move. And then the other thing I would like for you to know, or to highlight, was parallel. Parallel lines have the same slope. So they'll both be going in the same direction, and they'll both have the same slope. Let's check this out in action. Example 1, rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form, then identify the slope and y-intercept of the given equation. So the first thing I want to do is get it in slope-intercept form. That means y equals mx plus b. So y is not alone. I'm going to get rid of this negative 2x by adding it to both sides. And so I get y equals 2x minus 1. Then they told me identify. They asked me to identify. So my slope is 2, and my y-intercept is negative 1. But I'm always going to write that as a coordinate, 0, negative 1. Remember from when we were studying the x-intercept and the y-intercept, the y-intercept happens when x equals 0. That's how I'm always going to be putting the 0 there. Okay, for part 2, number 2, to get y by itself, you're going to subtract 8 from both sides, and you get y is equal to negative 8. So remember, we're looking at the form y equals mx plus b. So if I'm looking for my slope, which is my m, I don't see one, because your slope is always the number in front of the x. And since there isn't one, I'm going to put 0. We kind of should know that, though, because remember, whenever you just have y, you have a horizontal line. Horizontal lines have 0 slope. That's what Ms. Fitzgerald likes to run on, 0 slope. And then your y-intercept would be negative 8. So I'm going to go ahead and write that as a coordinate, 0, negative 8. Always, always, always put the 0 first. Now for number 3, y is almost alone, just not quite. So this negative sign is there. I'm going to put a 1 in front of it, and then I'll divide both sides by negative 1. Then I get y is equal to a positive divided by negative is negative x. So my slope for this one is no number, so I'm going to put it there, negative 1. And then my y-intercept, I don't see it. It's not plus anything. It's like having plus 0. So it's 0, 0. Check your notes. Make sure you match me. If you miss anything, go ahead and pause or rewind and go back. I think you'll be okay. So now we're going to graph in slope-intercept form. And most people like doing this sort of graphing a lot more than making an XY table, because it's a little bit more direct. So the first thing I need is my slope, which for this one, and sometimes I like to just write it if I'm new with slope-intercept form, so I can see how I'm matching it up. So my slope is my m, so that's going to be my 3. But when I'm ready to graph, I'm going to write it as a fraction, 3 over 1. If they don't give it to you as a fraction, just put it over 1. The reason why I do that is because I know that m is telling me where to move, and my top number will tell me to go up and down, and my bottom number will tell me to go either left or right. Rise over run. So because this is a positive 3, I know I'm going to go up 3 and right 1. Right 1 because this is positive 1. I also need my y-intercept, which in this case is negative 7, because the b was negative 7. So the b, remember, tells you where to begin. So you're always going to start there. And we are going to begin at -7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, it's my y-intercept, so I'm always going to start on my y-axis. Always, always, always. From here, this is my beginning. I'm going to go, my slope tells me where to move. I'm going to go up 3. So up, 1, 2, 3, and right 1. Do it a couple of times. Up, 1, 2, 3, and right 1. I'll do it again just because I'm having fun. 1, 2, 3, and right 1. You want to do it at least 3 times, though, just to make sure that your line looks good. And I'm going to tell you, I am using a straight edge, but sometimes my lines don't come out. Oh, that's not so bad. It's going to give you a reason why it wouldn't, but I'm happy with it, so accept it. Other thing I need to do, and you should do, is label. Y equals 3x minus 7. And that is how we graph those. Now, we liked example 4 because it was already in slope-intercept form. Number 5 is not. So we're going to do a little bit of work to get the y by itself. Go ahead and subtract 8 on both sides. We've done this before. Minus 8x minus 8x. And you have negative 2y is equal to negative 8x plus 14. I'm always going to put the x term first still. Divide by -2, divide by -2, divide by -2. I do it to every single term so that I don't leave anything out. So I get y is equal to 4x minus 7. Now, I know that I have my slope, which is 4. Sometimes they will give you a fraction, but right now we're just doing it ourselves and putting it at 4 over 1. So if it's rise over run, I know I'm going to go up 4 because it's positive and right 1 because that's positive also. And then my y-intercept as a coordinate is 0. The b is -7. So do me a favor and press pause if you would please, and then just go ahead and graph this one on your own. You know where to begin, and then you can check in with me and see if you got it right. Okay, so you should have begun right here at -7, and then you went up 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 1. Then you hopefully connected, and your line should kind of look like mine. Should cover up your whole graph, and you should have arrows at the end of each of them. And then you should also have labeled y equals 4x minus 7. I don't actually care if you put the slope-intercept form or the standard form of the line. Okay, so for number 6, here's what I would love for you to do. I would love for you to try this one on your own, or at least start it on your own. Actually, I see something a little bit different here, so I probably will do it with you. But if you feel pretty confident about this, like meaning you're getting bored with hearing the sound of my voice, go ahead and press pause, do this one on your own, and then fast forward to the correct answer. But for everyone else, we will divide by -3, and we get y is equal to -5 over 3x plus 3. This one I like because we actually get a fraction this time. So your slope is already in a fraction for us, which is actually nice. This is the time where we actually like fractions. So -5 over 3. So if it's rise over run, you know you're going to go down 5 this time. Why down? Because this is negative. And you're still going to go right 3. Still going right because you only have one negative. So you can either go down or left, but you can't do both down and left. So I'm using this negative with the 5, and I'm making it down 5 and right 3. Pretty much you're always going to go to the right. It's very rare that you won't. Your y-intercept is 0, 3. Go ahead and okay, so that's what I got. I started at 3, and then I went down 5 and right 3 is what I was supposed to do, but I went right 3. I went right 2. Buzzkill. Miss Fitz can't count. Okay, so I'm going to remix this really, really quickly, and then I'm going to just do that right and count correctly this time. How about that? Erase. Yeah, so 1 second, and it'll appear correct. Well, that was embarrassing. Y equals -5 over 3x minus 3. So down 5 and right 3 as opposed to 2. All right, keeping it moving. Tell whether the graphs of the equations are parallel. And remember, parallel lines have the same slope. So parallel, same slope for us. I would probably write that on there if you have not done so already. Parallel lines, same slope. So how could I tell if they're parallel? Well, I just basically need to find the slope of each line. This line is nice and friendly for me because it's already in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And m is all that I care about. The b can be anything it wants to. No one cares. But we're looking to see if they have the same slope. So for this line, my slope is 4. I'm not going to write it over 1 because I don't really care because I'm not graphing this time. This one I got to do a little bit of work because it's not in slope-intercept form. So to get this y by itself, I'm going to subtract 4x and subtract 4x. And I get y is equal to negative 4x plus 3. And my slope for this line is negative 4. They're close, but they are not the same. So because they're not the same, these lines are not parallel. Not parallel. All right, Fitsies, thank you for joining me. Once you're done with these notes, check them out. If you'd like to, you can start the book work, but we'll be checking these notes for you all the next time that we're in class. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.